going to get a remaster in the form of Skyward Sword HD.
Haha.
So I was like super amped about this. But yeah, it was like interesting. The reaction of a lot of people wasn't as happy. So
Really?
Skyward
Wow.
Sword originally released on the Wii back in 2011. One thing that you needed was the Wii Motion Plus to really make full advantage of it. They had packaged version of the Wii Motion Plus. At that stage, all the Wii motes were coming out as Wii Motion Plus. And really core to the game was that motion control. So one was sword, one was shield. And generally the enemies would have a position where they would, slice. So it'd be really obvious that, you had to slice vertically or horizontal on a certain diagonal. But it became a huge criticism for the game. And I think you'd also need to put it in the context that the Wii came out in 2006. So at that stage, it was 5 years into like a motion controls. I think most people were past motion controls at that stage. They were sort of over that gimmick. And I think, it really suffered for that. And then very bad presentation. Swinny, I think it was at an E3 where they were having connectivity issues with the Wiimote. And it basically looked like you couldn't control the motion for the game.
Huh. Dang it.
Do you remember that, Swinny?
I don't remember that specifically, but yeah, look, I'll give my thoughts when we kind of when you've covered the rest of it. So
Yeah. So they have mapped in button mapping to it. They've remastered the graphics. I was actually playing this game the other day on the Wii, and I really love it. I think it's really, really cool. But it does need like a graphical upgrade. And they also announced Skyward Sword-themed Joy-Cons, which I promptly purchased, and they've sold out at most places in Australia, and I think in America they're completely sold out. And I love these Joy-Cons. I love the way that they look. But yeah, Joy-Cons are really expensive, and it's so annoying that they drift. So
Love your Joy-Cons.
So yeah, Swinny, as probably equal or bigger Zelda lover on the podcast, what were your thoughts?
look, it's great that they're bringing this game to more people.
I'm
Not
excited.
Not only do have a lot of people probably not played this game, but a lot of people just don't. They've either gotten rid of their Wii or they're like me, where it's packed away somewhere, and the thought of just getting out to play one game and then go and set up the motion sensor bar and all that stuff is like, I just can't be bothered.
You can play it on the Wii U as well.
That's true. But my Wii U is in the exact same situation. It's packed away with the sensor bar and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy for that. Now, when we went through our game with some other year, 2011, we did not include Skyward Sword as part of the top 6, and I had it ranked as like 13 out of 20 for me. But don't let the...
Well, I had it, just for the record, I had it in the top 8.
So that's a reflection to me of the quality of the games of 2011. Not so much a slight on Skyward Sword. I do like Skyward Sword. It has some great dungeons. I think the motion controls are the best thing about the game alongside how the dungeons use them. I think the motion controls are fantastic. The problem I have with Skyward Sword in general, and it's got nothing to do with the HD, is the fact that there are so many bad design choices. Like the whole start of the game, the tutorial is drags on for so long. Fi is probably the worst side companion character that Zelda's ever had, and is so annoying.
Yeah.
And also,
Zelda has had or Link has had.
No,
Zelda
Zelda
is Zelda in this
Zelda
one?
is a series.
Zelda is a series. And the thing is, as well, is I bought a Wii for this game.
Oh wow! I didn't actually know that. I didn't know that.
So I bought a Wii, and so I had the Motion Plus and everything alongside that. But I remember sitting there trying to get it to look somewhat decent on my TV. I know the Wii was not a HD console, and I just struggled. This game just looked so rough for me, and that's why I'm really happy it's getting a nice coat of paint, because I just wish that there was a way that you could play it with the Wii Motion Plus. I really wish there was a way.
Well, you got the Joy-Cons, which I don't think will be very accurate.
That's the things. And to me, the idea of playing it with the buttons, I know some people love that idea. To me, it strips away the coolest part of the game.
Well, you played with the stick, so
but that's
angle it based on angling
that's
the
nothing
stick.
compared to the Wii
I know, I
Motion
can imagine
Plus.
it's nothing, but I still think it's pretty cool. Like I never played the game back in the day, but I'm looking forward to this.
But I think it takes away what made that game special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it
Because
would.
Swinny, I don't know, like this is just an odd thought that I have, and maybe it's because I just played the Oculus Quest, but I get this weird feeling like Nintendo is going to make like a VR console as their next thing post Switch. You even had Furukawa, the CEO, talking about they really want to do something innovative in terms of like the next console. I don't think they'll just do a Switch 2 or a Super Switch for the next generation. I feel like this game is the exact game you'd want to have in VR because, you've got those amazing controls and mapping to the hands and everything like that.
Well, if there's two companies that could make, VR mainstream, one is Nintendo and the other is Apple. To me, they're doing very different things. They would have very different takes on it, but they're the two companies that I think could get VR mainstream because it is not mainstream yet. It's been around for ages, but I think they're the two ones that could do it.
But I have a feeling Apple are not going to have a mainstream.
No, not the price that they're talking about.
So, see how that goes.
So how do you think this game is going to land? Like, do you think that they're going to actually modify it? Because I agree with your criticism, Swinny. I think there's like some mechanics and design choices. As you said it perfectly. There's some design choices they've made in this game which are just so frustrating for, I think, the vast majority of people when they play it. Do you think that they're going to like actually work to remove some of that stuff? Because they do touch the games up when they touch these Zelda games.
I think they will. I think they might make it easier. Maybe my hope is that they might reduce some of the stuff that Fee does, or at least allows you to like maybe have some control over it. Because as you said, with Wind Waker, they made a lot of quality of life changes there for the HD version.
Yeah.
Just going back to the motion controls for a second.
Yeah.
Just flying in that game, I can't remember the name of the bird creature that you use, but that's such a magical experience, and that's why I think people are going to just fly around, this is just like any other game if you use it on a controller, and it just came to my head when you're talking about it. I think it's just going to be such a shame for people not to experience what that game, really
and I mean, we should say that there are motion controls. It's using the Joy-Con, but like the reality is the Joy-Cons are probably at the same level as the Wiimotes, not the Wii Motion Plus that they ended up having. So it really won't work as well as the Wii Motion Plus. What is it? A Loftwing, the bird?
Yeah, and so you got those Joy-Cons, did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Why?
What do you mean,
ask why?
I just love the way they look. Like, I just think they look incredible.
That's exactly what I was asking, because I think they look absolute trash.
Oh yeah, I know. Some people have said that, which actually surprised me. But it's actually very much like the red and blue Switch. Like, some people were just like, "This looks like the most trash Switch I've ever seen."
Actually, trash, I think, is harsh. I wouldn't say trash.
Hey, Mike, your mic's like really loud.
I mean, these.
I don't think. I just don't think they look like Zelda things to me. They kind of, I don't know. Like, to me, like Zelda just has such a style to it, and these just feel a little tacky. Look a little tacky, but maybe they look better in person. I don't know. So.
I don't know. Yeah, it's so funny because people were like, "Why have they chosen blue?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, that's like a fully like Zelda thing."
But I thought green was a Zelda thing.
No, that's one of the colors, but like the.
But hang on, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this for the record: are you going to actually use them?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Well, yeah, I think so. Are you or are you not?
I'm 95% sure.
95% sure.
Mike, you cannot criticize people for buying
No, I'm not criticizing.
I'm
just calling it now. I don't think he bought them to use them.
What do you think?
He bought them to collect them.
No. To be honest, I don't like. I definitely collect Amiibo, but
yeah,
I mean, you can't deny that. But outside of that, I don't really buy many things to collect.
Okay.
So, like, if I did that, I would have bought the Fire Emblem 30th anniversary set that came out recently.
Oh, look! I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I have a sneaky suspicion they're not going to come out of the box, or they might come out of the box, but they're not actually going to get used because you'll be too scared to get Joy-Con drift on them.
Yeah, and maybe I'll play them for Zelda and stuff like that, and then pack them away for non-Zelda sessions. I don't know.
Okay.
Bring them back out for Breath of the Wild 2, which is a a good segue. We did also have kind of an update about Breath of the Wild 2. I must admit, I really felt like Breath of the Wild 2 was coming out this year. I think enough time has passed and everything like that, but I guess with the delays with COVID, there was like Aonuma, the guy who basically is manning the helm for Zelda these days, did come out and sort of say there will be an update. What was it, Swinny? Later this year, they'll give more information about Breath of the Wild 2, or more news later this year, I think was the phrasing.
I mean, it's same, isn't it?
Well,
We'll find out more later this year, basically.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It just feels like this is not going to be a 2021 game.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Nintendo, I wouldn't put it past them to have it actually pretty far along. It's just they weren't comfortable showing what they had. That's all, And they put that statement at the start of the direct about COVID, and I really think that it has probably impacted them hugely. They're such a closed company, and we've talked in the past about the struggles with Japanese game development culture and business culture in general about being so guarded and secretive. So I think that it wouldn't surprise me if it does actually come out though. So
I feel like this kind of a game is also the kind that gets incubated and completed properly. It's not like I'm going to have a stab at Animal Crossing here, where they release it early with a bunch of features and then they know, we'll just keep adding crap to it.
But that's not design.
That's another game that we've spoken to death about. I feel like with Breath of the Wild, it's such a big game. They will release it when it's ready, kind of thing.
But I think that's a poor argument, because that's the point of Animal Crossing.
I know that, but I feel like there were such core things missing in the initial release that they could have just waited a little bit longer and actually included them from launch.
But I don't think there was. I think
like
it's
core
missing
stuff
by choice, though. I don't think it's like they're building it.
No, I feel like they had it in the roadmap and then just went, screw it, we'll release it now and then we'll just add it later. It's also by choice in the sense that we'll trickle all these things that should, in theory, be in the base game. But why have it in the base game when we can? I can't think of anything right now because I haven't played it for a while. But I remember playing the game thinking, man, it's missing this and this and this. And then they added a bunch of things down the track. I'm like, yeah, they should have been there from the start. I don't know why it took them so long to put it in there. And you could tell they probably were going to do it from the start, but then they probably went, we'll just trickle it to keep players going. So, and I hate that practice. But I feel like with Breath of the Wild, it's the kind of game where that principle, you can't even apply that principle, I don't think. And I feel like they're also a company, and the developers are the kind of people that release it when it's actually done, not when they need to rely on 50 patches to get it to a workable state, kind of thing. So,
no, it makes sense. Makes sense. So, are you going to be picking this up, Swinny?
Probably not, because the price point. Honestly, I think that charging full price.
Yeah. It's already. You can pre-purchase it. So at JB Hi-Fi, I think it's like $69. I think same as Amazon.
But I mean, what's new in the game other than it looking a little bit nicer? Like, why would I buy it again? That's my question.
Well, it's a remaster. I mean, like, to be fair, like Demon Souls is like $109. I think is the cheapest you can get it for.
Yeah, but I mean, the work done to that versus this is not a remake. Like, to me. They haven't made it.
I don't think you know that. Like, I don't know why you're saying that, because like Demon Souls is like a 1-for-1 recreation of Demon Souls, right? Like they're literally using the Demon Souls engine underneath. Yeah, but it
looks like $1 million, whereas this just looks like it's got a coat of paint. They haven't made a strong enough case to sell this for full price, in my opinion. Yet.
Sure.
They could announce that, they could show stuff later, and it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But at the moment, and Nintendo games don't drop in price. Like, I might as well just go bust out my Wii and play it there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I think it looks a lot better than the Wii version, obviously. But yeah, everyone's got their own opinion on that, obviously. I think it's interesting, the whole pricing thing, because I think there's a weird thing, especially in Australia more so than America. In America, it's like $60 and probably Demon Souls is $70. So it feels like there's a lot less difference. But in Australia, we're seeing really big price differences. Like, you genuinely can get most new Nintendo games for $70, and Mike, I think like PS5, it's like kind of like 100. Is like
It's one Demon
the
Souls
best.
is 110, 120.
No, I know, but I'm saying on average,
best,
like
yeah,
if you try
yeah.
to get the best deal, it's kind of like still
yeah.
probably like 100 is like the best. So kind of feels like a bigger
get 'em
difference
low,
to
but
me.
yeah.
I'll say if they figure out a way to get, and I don't think it will, but if they figure out a way to get Wii Motion Plus support for it, then that changes everything.
That's not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. Breaking news on Big Week in Gaming Podcast. That's not going to happen.
Well, they
Because-
patched in GameCube controller support, so for Mario Sunshine, so
Yeah,
it's not
but
out of the question.
The Wii Mode bar thing has got a proprietary plug, so they'd need to have an adapter plug to go into
Yeah, I
the. It'd be
know, I
like
know.
crazy if they did that. Especially that they've got the Joy-Cons and all that.
If
kind
there
of
was
stuff,
ever
so-
one game to do it for, though, it would be this one.
Yeah, but I think they would announce that, right? Like that's not something
Yeah,
they'd keep
yeah.
secret. But yeah, I mean, you never know. The Joy-Con thing could work better than we are expecting. But
I'm
I'll
just
try
saying
that out.
that would be a game changer for me. That would make me buy it.
Yeah, look, I'll try it out, and because I'm very critical on motion controls, even with the Wii U and Wii. Like, I'm not a big fan generally. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm definitely going to get this day one. And
Played it within your Joy-Cons.
yes, exactly. I'll get them on day one as well. And I'm just really fascinated how this sits in the pocket with Zelda's 35th anniversary as well. Because it seems strange to me that they put this in here, given that it really does feel like they will have a 35th anniversary direct in the next month or two. But I guess we'll just have to keep our eyes on that space. All right, let's get into the other really big announcement in the direct, in which opened the show. Xenoblade's Pyra